Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the Get Fit With Me, Expanding Your Physical and Mental Fitness group. This group is for individuals who are ready to expand both their physical and mental fitness while helping and supporting others with similar goals all along the way. So today we are doing our Move and Learn workshop. In this group, we talk about three main areas. We talk about physical fitness, which I am currently doing right now. I have an under the desk treadmill. Last couple of months, I have been outside in the beautiful weather. It's kind of sunny today, but the wind is crazy and it's cold. And I thought it'd be better to kind of show you that you can have activity within your workday as well. So I am on my treadmill and I will be on here for 30 minutes. I'm not walking super fast, but we talk about three main areas: physical fitness, which we are doing today, mental fitness, and nutrition. So each week we talk about one of those topics and we dive in a little bit deeper. Today, when we're talking about physical fitness, I'm going to be answering some Q&A. Originally, I was going to talk fad diets, and for any of you guys who were anticipating that and you're like, oh, I was really waiting, I wanted to learn about that, let me know and I will do that topic. But I was starting to get a lot of questions, so I wanted to show up and do kind of a frequently asked questions session to see if any of you guys came up with any more and I could answer. But I also have a list of like 25 that have been coming to me either over the course of the last year or more recently. So I wanted to get those answered for all of you. Hello, Jean. How are you?
I'm good.
Are you on your lunch break?
Yes, so my mouth is kind of full.
No worries. Well, when you get a second, will you let us know who you are, where you're from, and what is one of your challenges that you're facing right now?
Oh, goodness. Okay. My name is Jean Mayville, and I am from mid-Michigan, not too far from Morgan. And I would say one of my challenges right now is transitioning back to work because I am a teacher. And even though we've been in school going on week 5 this week, believe it or not, my challenge is making sure that I am not eating stuff I shouldn't eat at the wrong time. I will say since you and I have been together, which is like a couple years, I can knock on wood, officially down 10 pounds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I did not do it through like quick diets and stuff, which there's a ton of that going on. But it's just from monitoring what I'm eating and getting sleep and water, I know are my big things. But right now I'm kind of having trouble coming home from work and getting settled to bed, and my relaxation schedule is a little goofy. That might be more than what people wanted to know, but that's my story.
Awesome. So I'm going to note that question just so I don't forget it. So your relaxation scheduled before bed. Um, awesome. Congratulations, because it is super easy to choose a fad or to choose something that's going to be quick, lose the weight, but then we yo-yo up and down for the next however many years until we find something that's sustainable, and we lose the weight, we keep it off, and we do it in a way that's allowed you to enjoy life in every way you want to. So I'm super proud of you, Jean. I've loved being part of your journey from when we started till even to now, and I'm excited to see the future of it.
Yeah, and I feel bad because I've been so busy. I haven't even had time to text you that information. But yes, and I mean, do I still eat chocolate? Yes, but it's timing for me. Personally, it's when I eat is what I found, and the sleep and water. That's important too.
I love it. And I love that you still eat the chocolate, because you can still have the chocolate, you can still have the pizza, you can still have whatever you want. But finding the timing, like Jean said, or finding the portion that's right for you, or finding ways to make that pizza a little bit more high quality by adding more vegetables, by adding more meat to it, things to make that experience more nutritious for you rather than something that's just empty. We also have Shanti on today. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm unmuted. I'm good. How are you, Morgan?
I'm doing great. We are moving today, so I am on my under the desk treadmill, and we're just going for 30 minutes, and we're gonna walk. We're gonna talk about some fad diets. We're gonna talk about some common questions that I'm getting. But I want to know from you who you are, where you're from, and what is a challenge that you find, or like a struggle that you're facing right now.
Well, my name is Shanti Bolden. I'm a minister. I live in Las Vegas. I'm retired. So every night is Friday and every day is Saturday.
I love it.
Yeah. I think my biggest challenge has been I kind of retired because of the fact that I injured myself at work. I have a couple of discs that are bulging in my lower back, and so it creates a lot of tension. You know, I used to be very athletic. I used to be a gym rat, actually. I used to go to the gym 5-6 times a day. And then I was still kind of struggling through it, and then COVID hit. And my wife told me, she said, if you go to the gym, you have to sleep downstairs. Yeah, you know, I mean, the vibe of COVID at the very beginning in 2020 was really high. You know, it's almost on the level of AIDS when it first came out in the 80s. You know, and rightly so for both challenges. So I stopped going to the gym. Then I thought I was going to be able to buy some stuff from and create a home gym. And there were so many scams online because they took advantage of the fact that all the gym rats wanted gym equipment. Man, I lost almost $1,000, and it just killed my spirit, you know, because I just felt like, wow, man, I'm over here really anticipating that I'm looking out the window every day, like a little puppy waiting for his master to come home. And the master never came. Then it finally dawned on me that, you know, man, I got stifled, and it just really killed my spirit. So I'm focusing on trying to get back. I'm walking now, you know, and stretching, you know, but I want to get back into the gym, start lifting some more, doing some cardio.
Perfect. So cardio, getting back into the routine of getting cardio is what I hear your struggle is, or the challenge you're facing of like getting in the routine of it, creating the consistency around it. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I would say so. And plus, you know, unfortunately, I have to kind of go with the flow because, you know, like sometimes this bulging disc, it's a pinched nerve also. It's on my lower spine, and sometimes it goes right into the hip, and so it kind of becomes a challenge to struggle. I mean, to walk, you know, to do cardio. But right now I'm in a good cycle, so it's not really hurting me right now.
Well, good. I'm glad it's not hurting you right now. So we're actually going to address both your guys' questions in today's session. Before we get into it, though, I want to remind you, if you are watching the replay or you're live on Facebook, let me know that you're here. Drop your name, who you are, and what your biggest challenge or struggle right now that you're facing is. I will share mine. So I'm Morgan Ekovich. I'm from Lansing, Michigan. I run this group with amazing people who show up each week to learn about physical fitness, mental fitness, nutrition. And my biggest struggle is I just got done co-creating and running a business event this past weekend. I was home for 3 days and I'm going on vacation again. So it's finding that routine in those really short blips of time when you're back to reality. And I know I'm not the only one who deals with this. And I have all the tools to put into place, but it's physically doing the action that I say I'm going to do and holding myself accountable. So by doing that, I'm speaking on what I'm going to be doing because it's the accountability of Shanti says he wants to go to the gym more. Okay, we're gonna come up with what he's gonna do, and he's gonna be held accountable. Jean says she wants to create an evening routine to help her relax better. We're gonna create that, and we're gonna hold her accountable. Same thing for me. This is a group to help hold each other accountable in things. So, with that being the case, let's start with the relaxation. So, for Jean, because I know you are on lunch break, and I want us to have a dialogue before you have to jump off here in a little bit. So relaxing schedule before bed. I know you do cheer, you do all the extracurriculars. What does your current routine look like, and what about it is not working, if you are able to answer?
Well, my crazy routine, I leave for work like at about 7, and sometimes, almost pretty much every night I don't get home till about 8. I might have one night that I'm not doing anything. Like this week on Tuesday, I did do a little self-care massage thing, which was great, but then I'm still home late. And then I still have to go out and feed horses. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, depending on if somebody else will grab those and do them. So it's just trying to get in the house and just have that relaxation time and I need to stop. I know what I need to do. I need to stop going to the chips because I really enjoy them. And I eat chips, but when it's like 9:30, I should not be eating chips. And so, and I have apples, and I need to, I have not yet done it, but I thought about, I might put a sign that says the word apple on my refrigerator, because my refrigerator is below the chip cupboard door. So I'm thinking that route might be more helpful.
I love it. So I love a few things you brought up. You know exactly what you have to do, and you already have an alternative. So that sign that says apple, I am happy to create. I've created this for Jamie in the group. I've created it for my mom. I've created it for Karen. A photo of me with a big bubble that says, "Why are you grabbing these?" Or "What are you doing?" Like making you just having that question. So you see my face every time that happens. So if you want me to do it and say, yes, grab your apple, I will do one for you.
That'll be awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes. It's just that whole fact of being conscious, because you're right. Grabbing the chips is second nature. Opening up the fridge and magically thinking food has been added to my fridge after the last 5 minutes I walked in there. We do things out of just habit. And if we can break that habit by asking a question, am I really hungry? Do I really need these? What's a better option? Asking any of these questions stops that pattern and puts us in a new pattern that we get to create. And if you still read the sign and say, screw that apple, I'm not eating it, and you eat the chips, then you at least were conscious about it rather than having it be an unconscious action that was happening.
Yeah, no, that would be awesome. That would be so nice of you. Thank you.
You are welcome. I will do that. I'll get that made today and I'll get that sent over to you. If anybody else would like a personalized photo or just the general one, just drop photo in the comment. I'll get it sent out to you. I have not posted it for everyone, only because I want to know if you're going to put me in your fridge or put me on your cabinet.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So, in addition, Jean, I want you to also start thinking of what are some things other than apples that you could grab. So I remember a while back there was like protein waffles that you could make and defrost. Like, what are some of those higher protein things at the end of the night when you are hungry that are going to make you feel fuller? So even putting a list next to the photo of me of some of those options so you don't have to sit there and think about it.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah. Thank you.
You are welcome. Shanti, any questions related to working through Jean's topic there?
Well, you know, there's a thought that it came to my mind for Jean. When my wife and I first got married, my wife used to like to eat late at night, like after 10 o'clock, and sometimes even at midnight. I ended up getting a chain with a padlock. And I put a lock on the refrigerator after 9 o'clock. So Jean, you can put a padlock on that cabinet.
That's an interesting thought as well.
I was thinking like a baby safety thing, but we're obviously adults, so that's a little bit hard. We can get through that pretty easy. And Shanti, you're still married, correct? So obviously you chaining up her food did not ruin the marriage. So that's a good thing.
No, it was my way of trying to support her. We laughed about it and stuff. But then we ended up getting a new refrigerator. And because the way I was able to lock it was that it had a double French door to open. I could just wrap it around there. And this one we got a single door. I couldn't put the lock around it anymore.
Jean, you gotta let me know if you ask Randy to do that for you, and how that conversation transpired. Okay, so Shanti, let's move on to your question and your struggle. So getting the cardio in, knowing that your body's feeling good now, but you don't always have those good days.
Mm-hmm.
So currently, first we have to look at currently, where are you? How much cardio are you doing? How much walking are you doing?
Ultimately my goal is to walk about 2.5 miles a day. Yeah. And looking at you, I'm inspired to go out and do it after our class.
So anytime we have these move and learns, you are always welcome to join from your phone and be out and about as you walk. So that's the awesome part about these move and learns, is I want you to move during the time that we teach these.
Wow.
So and they also it gets the juices in your mind going. I'm a kinesthetic learner, which means for things to really sit into my brain and for me to consume them, I have to be moving or I have to physically touch things. I used to go to college and study on the treadmill for hours. I would walk really slow, but it allowed my brain to retain what I was learning.
Wow.
So if you know there's something as you're writing your book and you're struggling with some of that, see if when you get out and about, if you can voice memo, all these thoughts pop up when we get the body moving.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, you know, I know that when I'm out and about, my mind shifts to another level. So I do think on a different level. Yeah.
So 2.5 miles, right? That's your goal? 2.5 miles each day?
Yeah.
How many are you currently? What's your average mileage per day or per week right now?
Well, my hip just started getting better. It was hurting, so I haven't walked this week. Yeah.
So there's 2 ways that we can go about creating this consistency and this habit for you. First way is you start by creating, I'm gonna walk 1 day a week and I'm gonna walk for 1 mile. And ideally it's the same day and it's the same time every single week. So that's one way you can do it. That way, I find there's pros and cons to that way. The pro is you get really consistent with Mondays are your movement day. You're gonna go out, you're gonna build that mileage up. The con is you're only doing it once a week, so it's gonna take longer for that habit to be built because you aren't doing it daily. The other way you can do it is every single day at the same exact time, because like you said, every day is Friday night and every next day is Saturday, however you said that every morning, if you get up and you drink your coffee,
Yeah.
maybe after that coffee, you go directly into, I'm going to go and I'm going to walk. At 10 o'clock, I'm going to walk. I don't care if it's 5 minutes. I don't care if it's 10. I don't care if it's an entire hour. But every single day at 10 o'clock, I'm going to go walk. And if I can't do it because of my discs, I'm going to stretch. So that you're creating that consistent habit every single day of at 10 o'clock, the little chime goes off in your mind and you either put on your shoes and you go walk, or you make your way to the ground or to the chair and you stretch. Any sort of movement you can consistently do. That habit is going to be built quicker. The downside is it's harder because it's every single day, and it's a lot harder because if you miss a day, we feel like a failure, and that's not the case.
Right.
Look at it as I did it or I didn't do it. Great, I did it. How successful was I? Wait, I didn't do it. Be honest with yourself and do it again tomorrow. So I find this every single day can be a little bit more hard on our ego to say, of like, oh crap, I just didn't do it. But if you're honest with yourself of, yep, I didn't walk and I didn't stretch. Okay. And then on your calendar, every day you do it, you can put a little smiley face for the days you did it and an X for the days you didn't. And then at the end of the month, you can see out of 30 days, I walked 20 days consistently and 10 days not. And you can start to see your patterns.
That's good. Yeah, because patterns build momentum, right?
Patterns and consistency build momentum and motivation. Motivation just doesn't happen. We don't just say, I'm going to go run a half marathon. No. You get running and you get really enjoying the thing and you're like, oh, I'm going to strive for something bigger because we've been consistent in the thing.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So tell me, since it's just you and me, tell me something, Morgan. What, besides how can I say, besides an accountability partner, what else do you do during this time on Thursdays with your group?
Awesome question. So this is your second time showing up live. Yeah. So the first one, you got to see the Google Calendar, which was a whole new type of training. Yeah. This is a whole new type of training. Those are really the two.
They are.
I love the move and learns. I do move and learns once a month. So once a month, I encourage you guys, as you're watching the replay or you're here live, to go out and walk, sit on a bike, go move your body for the 30 minutes we're together.
Yeah.
Then we have the nutrition type of trainings, and I stand in front of the screen and I grab a topic about protein, about carbs, about fat, about sugars, about water, about how do you grocery shop in an effective way, how to save money at the grocery store, anything around nutrition, meal planning. We hit on all these topics just like we do in Community First. We choose a small portion and then I teach on it. When it comes to the mental fitness side, that's kind of where that Google Calendar came in. Mental fitness is so much more than meditation, so much more than visualization. It's your habits, it's your routines, it's setting yourself up for success and having the right mindset to not see yourself as a victim and to not let your excuses run you, and being aware of that. So in the mental fitness talks, when we do those once a month, it kind of ranges, whether it's a habit, and I usually gauge that based on the audience and the conversation I'm having. So if I end up having behind the scenes conversations with people and they're like, I'm really struggling, I'm just not doing it, and I see excuses popping up, we talk about excuses and overcoming those. If we see, I just can't do the dang thing, we talk about habits and consistency. So we talk about those topics. Physical fitness, so like the fourth week, we talk about, I'll actually do moves. We will practice how to use certain pieces of equipment that you have at home so you know how to use it. We will practice certain movement patterns that you can do without equipment. Just ways to learn how to move your body in a correct and safe way that it doesn't involve you having to go to a gym or really need anything.
Oh, that's awesome. So you allow it to be an organic process. You let the group present to you what's needed.
Yeah, so it's funny because before this, when I create all my trainings, I really, for all of you guys probably know this, you've heard me say this, I create my trainings a month in advance. So anything anyone talked to me about this month will be taught on next month. Partly because it allows the scheduling to happen and for life to flow and for that person to stay engaged for a little longer. I was going to talk about fad diets today. I didn't want to because there just wasn't, that was something that nobody had been talking to me about. And it was something I came up with on my own, and it just didn't speak to me and speak to you guys in the group. So instead, I came up with Q&A, which because of your and Jean's questions, it essentially led into Q&A. Where are you struggling? Let's put you through it. Let's do the thing. Well, I have a list of 25 other questions that, depending on what today looked like, I have prepared to say, this is a common question I get. Here's the response. Because what I teach on is what you guys are asking for and the questions that you guys have. And a lot of times we don't know what we don't know. Right. So it takes conversations and hearing themes in people's responses, even if it's not a question itself. It's, what's that theme that's happening? I just can't make it to the gym. I can't make it to the gym. Okay, we're gonna talk on how to make it to the gym. Like hearing those themes so that it actually happens.
Yeah. That's really cool. Now, are you do you when you talk about food or meal preparation, which meal are you prepping for?
So really the concept's the same, the structure and the format's the same. You create your menu, you go to the grocery store, you buy all the things to have it, and then you prep as much as you can in advance. You portion out in containers, no matter if it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snacks. I always say start with the meal that is the most challenging for you to get in and to see balance. A lot of people, that's breakfast. A lot of people don't eat breakfast, or it's dinner. I'm too exhausted at the end of my day. I'm just gonna grab something on the way home. So usually somebody starts, but I always tell people start with that meal that you really struggle to get a balanced meal in, that you always see yourself running out to grab something, or you're grabbing that crap out of the drawer. Like, it's all kind of that personal, it's all personalized. I am nothing cookie cutter here. There is all customization to every single thing you do, because you and I are not the same. We are similar. We are both human. We both have human patterns that we see, but my life looks different than your life, which means how I prep my meals for the week looks completely different than how you will prep your meals for the week. But the system is still the same. Right.
Now you focused on more of a healthy recipes or things on that level. Talk a little bit about meals.
So I will tag you in a training that I have as well, that I've done, and it will give a deeper detail. But what I like to stress is when you look down at your plate or you look down at your snack, does it include a carb, a fat, and a protein? Because for us to consume a meal that has a carb, a fat, and a protein, what it does is it keeps our blood sugar levels like this throughout the day. Whereas if I have just carbs, you end up with this. You end up with that pasta hangover that we probably all know of, where we're just really tired and sluggish.
Yeah.
And that's because we don't have a balance between that carb that gives us energy, that fat that next gives us energy, and then that protein that sustains us and keeps us hungry. So really thinking and getting really simple with looking at your plate. Okay, I'm eating rice, I'm eating an avocado, and I'm eating chicken. Rice is my carb, avocado is my fat, chicken's my protein. Super simple that way. And you can have flavorful meals. You can have I have a whole recipe book that I can send to you that, like, it's all super flavorful. They're balanced meals, but it's about getting creative with it and being okay you can't really screw it up in the kitchen. I'm gonna be honest. It's not like baking where if you put in too much flour, your cookies suck. Cooking is awesome. Like, you can do whatever. You can put as much or as little in, and it's just gonna change the flavor of something. And you just add more, and that's it. Or you add some cheese, and cheese fixes all of it. Real bad, just add some cheese and you'll figure it out.
That's funny. Have you ever thought of doing a cooking class?
I have, and I haven't figured out the logistics for Zoom, but I will be doing an in-person retreat within the next year and a half, 2 years, and we are gonna fully immerse in cooking together in the kitchen.
What kind of things would you teach on cooking?
Anywhere from, it's funny that, so that's a great question. It's funny you asked that because it's really thinking back to the basics when I learned. Okay, how do you cut the chicken? Well, if you butterfly it, it's gonna cook faster. It's gonna be a little bit juicier. It's not gonna dry out because of that big chicken breast. So really, we'd pick a few meals and we'd just go through the process of things to remember, because I don't like to spend, I'm not gonna cook for 2 hours after my day of work. I want something 30 minutes or less. I want the least amount of dishes possible.
Yeah.
So helping people cook in a healthy way, least amount of dishes, lots of flavor, balanced meals, and all that works.
That's cool. That's really cool. What about guidance for helping people put weight on? Do you have?
What weight on?
Yeah.
So that first we have to determine your total daily energy expenditure. So we figure out how many calories baseline you are burning, and then we have to figure out how many more calories you need to eat. So when it comes down to putting weight on, it's more looking at calories rather than just looking at your plate. Because if I were to say, well, just eat more,
Yeah.
that's not a really, that's too broad. That's too cookie cutter. That's not specific to you, because you eating more and me eating more look different. To me,
Right.
when I say eating more, I could mean eat 3 more chicken breasts. And to you, it could be, I'm gonna have 2 more bites of something. So when we
Right.
don't get specific in those things, the disconnect happens. So when it is something like taking on weight or pulling weight off, or whether it's for our body or when it's for strength training, the biggest thing is knowing our numbers. Where are we? Where do we want to be? What needs to happen? And I'm not a huge calorie counter. It's a fantastic tool, but
Yeah.
it's something that I don't see sustainable for a lifetime. And with that being the case, it's teaching the habits of, oh, a chicken breast is the size of my fist. That's about 40 grams of protein. Okay, that's good. Like thinking through visually when you're
Yeah.
out and about, when you don't have your scale, when you don't have the app, when you don't have the scanny thing, like visually just being in the moment with food, and also not overthinking, consuming yourself with, this is healthy, this is unhealthy. Just be aware, create that awareness of, I've had cookies 14 times today. I should probably have something a little bit more substantial. Like creating that awareness in that.
Right. Yeah, I'm asking questions because I'm trying to gauge, because you're only going to respond to my question. You know what I'm saying? And and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just trying to have an understanding of all that you encompass. You know, and so let's see. Talk about how about weight training? I know you said something about you would be able to teach people to do things at home without having to go to the gym.
So that is the core focus of my business. That is where it all started.
Oh.
For any of you guys who didn't know this, COVID hit for all of you, just like
Yep.
I was laid off. I got the email. I sent out a frantic email to all of my clients saying, I will train you outside. We can switch to virtual right away. Like, I had a handful of clients stick with me throughout the other people were like, nope, we're just going to completely pause till we come back in. Fully respect whatever people wanted.
Okay.
I see people through Zoom where I train them directly as I were at the gym with them. So Bob, I have a client named Bob, let's say.
Yeah.
Bob, you have 10 more squats to do. As we are on camera together, just like this, I am counting his reps. I'm looking at his form. I'm critiquing. I'm telling him what weight to use. Just as if we are at the gym together. The only difference is we're not walking around from machine to machine. He's where he is and I'm where I am.
Right.
I also have Bob, you're scheduled busy. You are a lawyer. You do this, you do that. We can only find time to talk 30 minutes a week. So we check in 30 minutes and then I write him his workouts. He does them on his own and we check in via text throughout the week of, hey, any pain? We threw that new move in. Can you mind sending me a video? How's that feel? On our 30-minute call together, I look at his form and all the moves though. We do, okay, 2 reps of squats, 2 reps of rows. We go through and we practice all the moves because form is so important. Yeah. Form is the fundamental basis of everything we do.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 ways that I really help with exercise. It's we're on screen together for an entire session, or you're doing it on your own and we're connecting. Either way, it can be done with no equipment. It can be done with minimal equipment. It can be done if you're at the gym. I have so many years experience in the gym and at home. I will never have a gym membership again in my life. I have the equipment I have here. I have created the environment that I enjoy working out in. And I've helped my clients create that environment they enjoy working out in their own homes.
Yeah.
And being able to do it when they travel. Go find new things. Go do the things that you enjoy when you travel. You didn't strength train when you're on vacation, but you climbed 3 mountains in Arizona. Fantastic. You still moved your body. Looking at exercise differently and not just this box you have to fit into.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. You have a wide area.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love it. That's really cool. Because you could you could actually do it. Would you consider yourself doing a like a Jamba training or anything like that? Some kind of, where you have people online that were actually watching you and doing something?
So I do that as well. I teach group fitness twice a week. At noon, Monday and Wednesday, I teach a cardio class right here. And on Wednesdays, I teach a strength training class. Exactly on Zoom like this. It's not streamed into the group. It's a small class fee, just like if you were to go take a class anywhere. Yeah. But you do it all from the comfort of your home. I love that. Group X is where I started off. I started off at the Y as a group fitness instructor. And it allowed me to step into not being afraid to speak to a lot of people. So it's a really good atmosphere for accountability for people who are there, but also a confidence booster of the person next to me is not judging me. They're not looking at me as the sweaty ball of mess I am. No, they're thinking of their sweaty ball of mess that they're creating.
Right.
We get so caught up in our heads, and that group atmosphere allows for that connection.
I love it. That's really, really good. That's really good. Did you study health when you were in college?
Yep. So I went to Central Michigan University right here in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. I have an exercise science degree with a minor in nutrition and public health.
Wow. That's kind of interesting. Exercise, you said was in science? What? Repeat it again?
Exercise science. So we have Central offers 3 programs. One is cardiac rehab. So you can go and essentially do stress tests and go work in a hospital. They have kinesiology, which is that stepping stone for anyone who wants to become a PA, PT, a doctor, anything like that. And then they have health fitness. And that is what I did. And that was the hands-on I took on clients when I was in school. I did practicals. I had 20 people in my cohort that we had for 4 years together. Everything was hands-on. Everything was science-based. It was fantastic. And the hands-on portion and the fact that they made me go do a 16-week unpaid internship and work for 40 hours a week at this internship is who has made me the trainer I am today, because I had to use the things that I learned. And so often there's a disconnect when you learn something and you actually apply it. And I got the opportunity to apply it and just excel on that.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you know, I believe that you're going to be a great impact online.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, we are over our 30 minutes, but the conversation was going so well. So I wanted to keep it going. Do you have anything else that you want to ask? And if not, what are your takeaways from today that, yeah, what's kind of sticking to you as the thing that stood out?
Well, even before I called in, it was going around in my head that I need to get out there and walk again, since I'm feeling better. And I like what you said, that if I don't feel like I can walk, at least I can stretch, and that I need to do it consistently at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Yeah. So I'm gonna make a statement, put it out there in the atmosphere.
I love it. What is it?
That if I don't walk, I'll stretch.
Awesome. And by tomorrow morning, send me a message with the time that you are committing to. And if you know you can't, like you need like a buffer, so anywhere between 9 and 11, give yourself that buffer, no more than 2 hours, but choose that time frame or that exact time that you are going to be consistent with it, and send me a message and let me know.
Okay. I could probably go a lot earlier now. Now that the hell heat is over with, pure hell, man. It was averaging about 110.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. Well, good. Okay.
Awesome. And I know I mentioned recipes, so if any of you guys, including yourself, Shanti, if you're like, I want that recipe book, drop recipe. And if you want that photo of me saying why, or put the chips down, or whatever you want me to say with the little speaky bubble, just drop photo and I will make one of those and I will send it to you. The number of people who have me in their homes is kind of entertaining at this point. So I love it. Let's just keep it going.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, I will see you all next Thursday, same time, same place, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You as well. Have a
See
good
ya.
day.